You shot straight, but you shot late. Holla at me. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm gonna give you the rundown.
See, this is the thing. Okay. I tell people this, I say it all the time. It's like one of my mottos. Everyone that is in prison is not guilty. The same way everybody that's walking around in the streets is not innocent. Do y'all really think that every single time the DA, the judge, and the jury got it right every single time? No, they didn't. Did not know this girl, wasn't my best friend. All of these things that was said over these years were not true. But once you're in prison, no one cares. And once you come home, I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life trying to prove to people like, I didn't know this person. I found out her last name when y'all found out, when y'all read it in the newspaper. This wasn't my best friend. Didn't babysit my kid. Like, it was just so much lies that were told. But, you know.
Was there a reason for you was there a reason for you shooting her, or did you have a gun and just...
Wow. I didn't shoot anybody.
We got Remy on the phone. And, she's calling because the sentencing came down and we already heard from the lawyer for the victim. Lauren, and then we heard from the victim, Makita, and Remy's on the phone.
Hello? Remy?
Yes.
Oh, good morning, Remy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Rem.
Good morning.
You know that girl calls in here trying to cry and give me the business?
Listen, first of all...
That lawyer came at my neck.
They mad because all these months they've been trying to get interviews and nobody wanted to interview them. Nobody wanted to do nothing, but people were still interviewing me. They want me to agree because a 12 jurors said guilty. I don't care if 12 million said guilty. The same way she was there, I was there. Mm-hmm. I was there. Like, I'm not agreeing with y'all and telling y'all, all right, I'm wrong and I'm sorry for something that I didn't do.
I told the lawyer, I said, just because y'all may have proved the case doesn't mean that you proved the truth.
No, but that's the whole thing. They didn't prove the case. That's the whole thing. Like how you supposed to have a jury of your peers, like how cops could get a judge to do their jury. Like, if I could have producers and rappers to be my jury, like, it'd probably be the same as well. Like, I'm not Asian, I'm not Caucasian, I don't live in Soho or Tribeca or anything else, so I don't feel like I had a jury.
How are you doing? Aside from that, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Like, everybody is wondering why I'm not on the floor crying my eyes out, because I know that I'm a good person. I know, God knows, I got a good heart. Right. And my intentions wasn't to come out and go shoot somebody or anything else. Like, never. And I never unintentionally shot nobody. Like, everybody keeps saying she got shot twice. She was not shot twice. She has a graze wound on her thigh, the top of her thigh, that entered into her stomach. Now, just picture if you're in a passenger seat and someone's in the driver's seat and they end up with a graze wound, a vertical graze wound on their thigh that ends up in their stomach. Does that sound like somebody who got in your car and tried to shoot you? A graze wound means the bullet had to touch the top of that part of your skin. Whatever. Then I get convicted of gun possession. There's no gun. No fingerprints of mine on no bullet. Started with $4,800 missing out of my bag. So I lost that. I lost my passport. You know, I was losing shows left and right to the extent of me losing custody of my son. And now my freedom for 8 years. And now you telling me you want to settle out of court. Now you asking for leniency. Like, it's really hard for me to have remorse when you not telling the whole truth. Like, you lying. You are. Like, you saying you the liar, you this and this and that. Like, you bending the truth and you stretching it to make it seem like you did nothing wrong and everything is 100%. Like, I don't gotta shoot no girls. Ever. Girls. Like, these people, I knew them about 6 months, honestly. But I treat all my friends with nothing but respect and love. I extend myself, let them wear my clothes, borrow my cars. Like, this time last year, they was all swimming in my pool. You know what I'm saying? So
wait, she said that she withdrew the civil claim. Is that not true?
Right before trial started. Right before the trial started, she withdrew the civil claim. Right before. But she didn't just sue me. She tried to sue me. She tried to sue Big Joe. She tried to sue Jim, my manager. She tried to sue whatever record labels that I was dealing with. The whole lawsuit came up to like almost $100 million. Like, I know people in the hood that say they'll do such and such for $500,000, for $1 million. What do you think somebody gonna say or do if they think $20 million's on the line? Everybody who was in that courtroom, who was subpoenaed to be witnesses, said they ain't see me get in her car or come out her car with no weapon.
I hate to...
It's impossible to get a graze wound on the top of your thigh that enters your stomach. You shot one time. Like, it was in a grade, and that was from a grade wound that went across the top of your thigh into something. Like, stop, don't try to make it seem like I'm this evil person. I was nothing but nice to them since day one. Through this whole trial, I ain't never be like, yo, I hate them. That you want to know what's honest? They've been trying to call everywhere. Wendy, everybody denied them. You the first person that ever even gave them any type of airplay. So they should be very grateful for that. But everybody talking like, oh, it's black people, this and that. She's black.
Remy,
was black.
Real quick, Remy, at the end of the day, in hindsight now, do you think it was even worth getting into the whole thing, getting into the car?
This is the whole thing, like, what y'all not understanding. Everybody keeps saying, like, it wasn't worth it, but why? What was you thinking? What did you do? This is not what happened, is what I'm trying to tell y'all.
Right.
This is not what happened. Do you really think I jeopardized being... They offered me 3 years. Mm-hmm. I knew if I went to trial, I was facing 5 to 25. You think I wouldn't have took the 3 years? You think I would jeopardize being away from my child for 5 to 25 years if I even had an inkling or that I was guilty or something?
And what are you gonna? What's gonna happen with him? Is he gonna stay with your mom?
He's with my mom right now, but like all my family, they all support me.
Good.
Like Pap is definitely supporting me. Like regardless of what everybody say, like it's because he was married. Like we already planned the wedding. Like ask Khadijah, she was telling me like, are you inviting Miss Jones? Like this is before trial, anything that even started. So this is not just because I'm in jail. Like people really care about me. I really go out my way to do stuff for people all the time.
We know you don't have to explain because it doesn't matter anyway. Those that know, and those that don't.
But it's not even that. Like she feels like, everybody's looking at me like I'm a liar, and They was on a MySpace page. Like her headline was like, "Who am I? But you don't watch TV." Oh. They was putting little tombstones like "Rest in peace to Remy Ma's music career." Petty little kid stuff. Like, I could sing out audio and let y'all hear the real person, not the person that you was just talking to. Like
no, she was crying at first, but then she said she wanted to come to Caroline's at the end. So
but that's what I'm saying. Like be 100. That's what was making me so mad throughout the whole case. Like it's hard to have remorse for somebody that's trying to finish you. They was trying to finish me.
Yeah.
They're trying to I'm staying here and I'm holding my head up and I'm not crying. I'm not on the floor because I know if that judge really wants to, and it wasn't a man, it was a female judge.
Say man, hey man, it's OG Jucario. Now I'm back at you with another one. And I had to come spin the YouTube block on this topic about rapper Remy Ma's son being charged with murder. And this homicide occurred over 3 years ago of a drug kingpin named D-Block. That's right. And we're gonna take it back to where Remy Ma herself was convicted, right? She was charged, then convicted and served time. 25-year sentence, but she did 6 years and was let out for attempted murder. And we're gonna go back and see what really happened with Remy. And she claimed her innocence throughout the whole deal, even once she was let out. Never once did she say, hey, yeah, I did do that. She maintained that she was innocent the whole time and railroaded. And now she's saying her son is also innocent. And people are blaming Remy for the way her 23-year-old son, who committed this alleged crime at 20, turned out. And they're saying, well, had Remy been there during the time of his growing up, right? Maybe this wouldn't have happened to him. And maybe he wouldn't be charged with this alleged murder that went on. So buckle up and slide with me. Run it. Rapper Remy Ma responded to allegations of her son being charged for murder, a homicide that occurred over 3 years ago. And she's saying she's going to stick by his innocence. And she's hoping that NYPD does a thorough investigation about what really occurred and make sure they get down to the bottom of it, because she's saying, hey, my son had nothing to do with that. And she's saying she can't really speak on it too much at this time, as his legal team informed her, hey, this is an active case and you can't say too much right now, right? And Remy is saying, look, just pray for us. But in the end, she's saying that her son is completely innocent, as Remy said she was innocent when she was charged for attempted murder. Remy would respond to the victim, who went on Hot 97, Miss Jones' radio show, and gave her account of the events that took place that day that led up to the shooting. And Remy also called in and rebutted everything that the victim said. And Remy maintained that she was innocent of everything that the woman was alleging, and she didn't shoot this woman, right? But Remy also claimed that she didn't know this woman, right? Have never seen her, didn't know her last name when she went on Wendy Williams and told her that. But she also backdoored on this radio interview with Miss Jones and said that she did know the victim. So it was a lot of conflicting stories on what, actually was the relationship between Remy Ma and this victim who said Remy shot her. Photos would surface online of Remy Ma and the alleged victim partying together, right? And Remy Ma would say that she knew the victim only for a small amount of time, for a few months, and she did invite her over to her house to a pool party, implying that she did know the victim some type of way. And all this occurred during the time that she was maintaining her innocence and saying that she didn't know this lady. So that contradicted everything that Remy was saying about if she was innocent of shooting this lady or not. Remy would go on to say that she turned down the 3-year sentence that they offered her because she thought she might be acquitted, right? And she told Miss Jones on the interview that, she wouldn't want to do 25 years, right? She wouldn't risk that, but she thought she had a good chance of getting off on this crime because she was innocent. The gun allegedly went off during a struggle that occurred between the victim and Remy Ma when she was trying to go through this woman's bag and find this money that came up missing. And unfortunately, the victim was shot during this time, according to the lawyer and the court documents. During the victim's testimony, she said what hurt her the most is that Remy didn't apologize. Even if it was an accident, she didn't say, "I'm sorry," right? While she was bleeding out, she said Remy was allegedly going through her purse looking for the stolen money, the $4,800 that came up missing. And she said once the money wasn't found in the purse, Remy just threw the purse down and fled the scene, right? Didn't call 911 or nothing. Now, with the victim saying that Remy shooting her in the stomach, she feared that she couldn't have children one day, and that also hurt her as well. $80 million is what the victim tried to sue Remy Ma for, but that lawsuit eventually was dropped right before the trial started. After Remy Ma was convicted, right, she was given 8 years, but she was let out early, and she did 6 years, and she was let go. And that's when she went on the Wendy Williams show, and she told Wendy that she didn't know this woman. Now I keep seeing people run with the narrative that Remy Ma risked it all. She went to prison for 8 years and left her son behind, all behind $1,000 a rack. Well, we all heard Remy say in the interview that it was actually $4,800, $200 shy of 5 racks that was stolen from her that she never recovered, right? And, they're saying that she left her son behind and this is the reason he turned out the way he turned out. And allegedly, he's charged with a murder that happened back in 2021 of a Darius Gilbo, alleged drug kingpin, right?
23-year-old Jason Scott has been arrested in connection to a murder in Queens that dates back to 2021. Investigators are looking into the possibility that it was a murder for hire.
Yeah, Steve and Natasha, residents I spoke to here, they didn't know the victim, but they do know who Remy Ma is, and they're telling us that they hope her celebrity doesn't play into this case. Tonight, we are learning that that victim was allegedly killed by Remy Ma's son, Jason Jace Scott. So here's what we know at this hour. 23-year-old Scott was arrested today on first-degree murder and weapons charges. It's unclear if he pulled the trigger or if he hired the hit that took the life of Darius Gilbo, who lived here at the Ravenswood houses in Astoria. The crime occurred nearby in broad daylight back in 2021. Gilbo took hits to the head and to the chest. Gilbo had an extensive criminal history. 8 months before he was killed, he was indicted in a massive drug trafficking operation. We should also tell you that a second man, a man by the name of Richard Swigert, was also arrested and charged with murder and weapons charges. Steve and Natasha, it's unclear what led to this, if there was any relationship between these guys before this murder happened. We can tell you that we are expecting Scott thought to be arraigned early next week.
Now, Remy Ma is catching a lot of backlash for her son being charged with a murder, saying had she not went to prison, he might have turned out a better person and he wouldn't be in this type of predicament. Well, that could very well be true. But when Remy said her mother raised Jace when she did that 6-year stint, I was wondering, what was the biological father at that time? Because, it takes two to create life. And at the same time, they're saying Papoose is not going to be there because he's not the real father. And he doesn't have to go along with being there for Jace because him and Remy aren't, seeing eye to eye. And obviously they have some type of divorce going on. Which leads us up to Darius Gilbo, who was taken out 3 years ago. And they're trying to say that Jace, Remy Ma's son, and another individual had something to do with it. And they're also implying that there is surveillance camera footage of this. And they have Jace on video committing this murder, right? So a lot of people are saying, well, what took so long? Well, investigations take time. And at the end of the day, they could very well have the evidence that they need to put Jace away if he indeed did the crime, right? So a lot of people at this point are trying to speculate, why was Darius Gilbo killed? Well, he did 3 different terms in New York prisons, 2 for drugs and 1 for robbery. And it has people thinking, well, was he taken out behind the robbery? Was the murder for hire behind him snitching, as the streets are saying? And we'll probably not find out the motive until the trial gets here, right? So keep it locked to OG Jucario TV. And until next time, you're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spending with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. And you already know what it is, man. It's deeper than booty hair. And guess what? I'm gone.